Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison was originally written in 1970. When it was first written, it wasn't very popular, didn't receive much recognition, was even out of print by 1974. But as Toni Morrison became more popular, her book became more popular, her writing became more popular, and the Bluest Eye became more unpopular. It began to be challenged and banned, and to this day, every year is challenged multiple times. Recently in Michigan, was even tried to be legally banned. It's mostly been banned and challenged because uh, of its raw content. It's a very raw book, but especially because of its portrayal of sex, molestation, racism, and incest. Toni Morrison doesn't really try to hide anything, and she just kind of comes right out and says it how it is. As a result, many people have found it pornographic and offensive. The passage that I'm going to read from Toni Morrison's book, The Bluest Eye, is a passage that I think shows what the real purpose of the book is. And that the book is not about pornography or molestation and incest, but that she uses those topics as a means to an end, not to an end itself. I also like this passage because it shows how good writing is more than just words on a piece of paper. The good writing is a whole piece of something. The words are there to express these ideas and this concept, and they all have to be construed and strung together. So it was. The little black girl yearns for the blue eyes of a little white girl, and the horror at the heart of her yearning is exceeded only by the evil of fulfillment. We saw her sometimes, Frida and I, after the baby came too soon and died. After the gossip and the slow wagging of heads, she was so sad to see. Grown people looked away. Children, those who were not frightened by her, laughed outright. The damage done was total. She spent her days, her tendrils sap-green days, walking up and down, up and down, her head jerking to the beat of a drummer so distant only she could hear. Elbows bent, hands on shoulders, she flailed her arms like a bird in an eternal, grotesquely futile effort to fly. Beating the air, a winged but grounded bird, intent on the blue void it could not reach, could not even see, but which filled the valleys of the mind. We tried to see her without looking at her, and never, never went near. Not because she was absurd or repulsive, or because we were frightened, but because we had failed her. Our flowers never grew. I was convinced that Frida was right, that I had planted them too deeply. How could I have been so slovenly? So we avoided Pecola Breedlove forever.